I can't believe today is the first time that I am featuring a Doxa here on my channel. I'm a little bit ashamed of myself. However, I have spoken about them many times here on my channel, especially when I'm talking about historic dive watches. Finally, I break that streak and I have one hands-on to show you guys, and it's a really cool Doxa. It is the Sub 200T Professional. This is their smaller version of their very popular dive watch. So let's flip the camera and take a look at a really cool watch from Doxa, the Sub 200T Professional. Before we begin, I do want to mention that this watch was lent into the channel by Exquisite Timepieces, exquisitetimepieces.com. They are a authorized dealer for many brands, of course, including Doxa, the watch that we are featuring today, the brand that we are talking about today. I am very excited to finally have one of these on the channel, and I have to thank Exquisite Timepieces. I will put a link to this watch on their website down in the description below. Definitely check out their website. If you are interested in this watch, or really any watch, check out their website because they have so many watches available. I am somewhat ashamed to say, and I laugh when I say it, but I am a little bit ashamed that I have never featured physically on my channel, in my hands, a Doxa. I have spoken about them many times here on my channel, but I've never featured one. If you've ever seen Doxas in person in general, I think they're very good looking watches. They're very distinct looking. All of them are immediately recognizable. They're a historic dive watch brand. They are a brand of first. They were the first to put a helium escape valve. Also, there is a long line of people, famous people, who wore a Doxa. Jacques Cousteau, when you think about the 50 Fathoms, he didn't only wear watches like the 50 Fathoms, he also wore Doxa. His team wore Doxas. Pretty cool when you think of that. One of my personal favorites, and something that I really find kind of fun about Doxa in general, is the Clive Clusser connection. And basically what I'm talking about is the character in his book, and the character's name is Dirk Pitt, wears a Doxa 300T. This is the 200T. It's a very similar looking watch, not in size, but in look in general. Like I said, all Doxa look very similar and are very distinct to any other watch brand out there. So when you see a watch like this, you could mistaken this for a 300T. And that character, a very adventurous book, and they made a movie about it called Sahara. If you've ever seen that movie, it wasn't very, very popular, but the character, the main character, Matthew McConaughey, plays Dirk Pitt. He wears a 300T in that movie. And this looks very similar to that watch. You get a very similar bezel. This is called the Doxa Sub 200 Professional. It is a Swiss-made dive watch. It gets 200 meters of water resistance. It's powered by a Sellita SW200. The only difference about this watch is that it's a little bit smaller. You have that bright orange dial. You have the painted on indices. Those are painted on in Lume. There's black also painted on to the dial for the indices. So it's black, white, and orange on the dial. The hands are in black and white. It just looks really good. Everything blends together really well. There are two scales on the bezel. One is in orange to match the dial. The pip is also in orange. And then the bezel ring on the inside is in silver, and that is a 60-minute counter. Screwed-in crown, screwed-in case back. You have a barrel shape or a turtle shaped case. Very classic looking. You have polishing on the sides. You have a very large crown that is grippy, and you also get a little bit of enamel in that crown. So there's orange in the crown, which looks really good. You have very large screws in this bracelet, a very solid beads of rice bracelet. It is not tapering all that much, but it does taper a little bit, and it tapers down to a very big clasp that is signed Doxa. You have their fish logo, and there is on the fly micro adjust or on the fly extension for diving, whatever you want to call it. It's a double push button enclosure. Everything is milled. It's a really solid feeling buckle, and it looks really good. Obviously, this is a very solid dive watch, so the clasp or buckle on here being solid makes a lot of sense. You have a little bit of a crosshair on the dial, which is very typical. You have the date at the 3 o'clock Between 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock, it has their logo, just says Doxa. Right below that, automatic. And then right over here, right around the 4 o'clock position, it says, of course, Sub 200T Professional. Today on wrist, I have a watch that is also available at Exquisite Timepieces. This is Nevada Grenchen. This is my personal watch, but I know that they carry Nevada Grenchen. They've also done limited editions for Exquisite Timepieces. So Exquisite Timepieces have done their own limited editions with Nevada Grenchen. So special editions just for their boutique. Pretty cool. This is their new Racing Chrono King. It gets a beautiful green dial with interchangeable bezels. Just a very cool watch. And I'm pretty sure that they have these at Exquisite Timepieces. So if you're interested in this watch, also definitely check out their website. And there it is on my 7.5 inch wrist. Obviously, this is not sized up for my wrist, but you can see this wears really nicely. It's 39 millimeters, basically spot on at the case. It's much smaller at the bezel because obviously that bezel is visually smaller than the case. You have a lug-to-lug of just over 41 millimeters and a thickness just under 11 millimeters thick. For 200 meters, that is really good. So this is a 200 meter dive watch with under 11 millimeters thick. Pretty good. And then of course you have a flat sapphire crystal that is really almost flush to the bezel. Really good on my 7.5 inch wrist. I think this is just a good looking watch. Well, there you go. Everything is lumed. Everything that is painted in white on the dial and those hands basically is lume. So you have lume on the seconds hand, and then you have lume on the dial as well, and then the hour and minutes. There is a little bit of lume in the bezel. That is that orange pip. It's not as bright as everything else because obviously orange lume isn't as good as white lume. So there you go. Bezel action on here is really good as well. Almost feels like a vintage watch a little bit. It's not extremely tight, but it feels pretty good and it sounds good as well. But I would like to see a little bit more of a tight bezel action on a watch like this. But I don't think it feels bad, and I wouldn't say it's loose at all. But again, I would forgive that because I think this is just a cool watch and everything about it is fun. And obviously also very functional. So it's a very functional, fun looking dive watch. Price on this is $1,790. That is almost in sort of high-end micro brand territory. So if you were going out to buy a Manta, let's say, which is a high-end micro brand, that's where this is priced. And I don't think brands like Manta can really compete with a brand like this. If you want history, this is the way to go because you get a really cool watch with some amazing history. So this is actually very competitively priced when you consider the landscape and the watches out there, in my opinion. Tell me what you guys think down in the comment section below. I think it's cool, but I want to hear what you guys have to say. Tell me down in the comment section. Please also don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. I'll put a link to this watch down in the description below. Definitely check out Exquisite Timepieces and exquisitetimepieces.com if you are interested in this watch or really any watch because they are an authorized dealer of so many brands. That's really it, guys. Thank you for logging on. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next video.